Take it less.
Welcome back, y'all. This will be part one of the suspension build on the GTO, where we will start with the polyurethane bushings, polyurethane, there we go, polyurethane bushings. Let's go ahead and look at them real quick. So I got these for the control arm, these are for the rear runs too as well. These are the sway bar bushings I already have from BMR, but I'm gonna go ahead and put those in. Control arm bushings too as well, and then I have the what are these? Front link sets. Maybe use them, may not. And then I have the tub of lube that it goes with the kit, and the instructions as well. And then these are the rear subframe bushings. It does have an insert, but I got to figure out what that goes to. And then I have the front radius arm bushings as well to replace. Those are the worst ones on the car, so I'm gonna open this up later on because it says open first and we gotta follow the instructions. Not really to the T, but to the T. You get what my drifting. And then as well, I already got the car back here already lined up on the rack. I got the engine support brace or support bar, whatever it's gonna be called, already mocked up and ready to go for the subframe removal. It'll be the second time doing this. First time I did the oil baffle for the oil pan about a couple of years ago, so this will be the second time doing it again, which I'm kind of excited, kind of scared at the same time, but I'm here to help you find the motivation and confidence to do it yourself. All right, well, let's get this car jacked up in the air and start taking everything off. All right guys, I got the car on the lift, raising up. Clear, you can see that's a lot of suspension travel whatsoever, as well as the back. Like, that's too much travel. In the rear, I tighten it up a little bit. I do want to measure the distance now and before, just on the stock springs or stock suspension and the aftermarket suspension. So I'm thinking it's about like 7 inches of difference of space, I'm thinking. No, it's actually 8 inches of difference. Goodness gracious. So from tire to there is about 7, I would say 7.5 inches in the front. And then you got about, let's see, right here, about 5 inches in the rear. So the coil-overs want to go front and rear. The tires distance from the ground should be a little more raising up by a lot, front and rear, because I need to tighten it up a little bit. So far the engine is already secure enough. Well, that one needs to get tightened up a little more, but tighten it up a little more. There we go. Cool. So with that being said, we're gonna take the tires off and then take the brackets off, and then we're gonna loosen up the tie rods and the caliper, and then we're gonna loosen up the struts and ABS sensors, all like that stuff. And then we're gonna loosen up the power steering lines, and then we're gonna loosen up the bolt for the rack. I'm gonna go ahead and lock the steering wheel, so we have any issues with it, because last thing I do is break a clock spring. So let's get to it. All right, guys. So I got this side out. Wasn't really a pain. It's just the bolts that go to the strut was the only issue. Other than that, it came out pretty simple and easy. Do need to take off the VMR bushing on top so I can use it for the coilovers. Looks to be in decent condition. It's not cracked or bushing, so but I still gotta do an inspection on it. But that thing is heavy. Enough of this yapping. Let's do the other side. Alright guys, so I got the front suspension off already on both sides. That was pretty convenient. It's like 10 15 minutes to yank both sides out, which is pretty fast. I've done it multiple times in the past. So now I gotta do the column from the steering rack, the high and low pressure lines from the rack itself, and then unloosen the screws off the subframe that go to the hard lines of the power steering system. And then loosen up the column, and then undo the motor mounts from the top, and then she should naturally come down with the other 4 bolts off the subframe. Should lower it and it should come off. Let's get back to it. All right guys, so I didn't record much, forgot to hit the record button, but the subframe is out. I could have done this in the vehicle, which is not a bad issue. I just had to take off the front radius arms, which are right there, and the control arm right there, and the bushing in the middle, and that's pretty much all you need to do in the front on both sides, which is pretty usable in the car, but I'd rather have it out of the car so I can whack that hammer, the knuckle off. And if I need to cut and blow torch all this stuff out and smoke the rubbers out, the rubber bushings out, it won't be a hassle, and I don't really want a flame next to the car. Yeah. Alright guys, after an hour or two, we finally got the bushings on, which were a pain in the butt. Definitely had to use a hammer once or twice. I do have the collars or the sleeves that used to be in there. I think they're in the trash. Where are they at? Yeah, these ones right here. I had to get most of these out, and then where's the other ones at? And the middle piece is out as well. What the heck is the other? I'm like a damn hobo looking through trash right now. Yeah, they had to come out really stiff or difficult. But so far the fronts are done. I got the other bushing for the radius bushing in here, which is pretty simple. It goes on, slides on, apply the grease, X, Y, and Z, and then I gotta put the subframe back on. I might do the subframe first and then put the heavy stuff back on it after. Yeah, halfway done with the front. I still gotta do the coilovers, take the fronts off of those, rebuild them. Well, not rebuild them, take the bushings off those, put the coilovers on, stick them in there. I do want to weigh them before I do that, how they are, but let's get back to it. All right, guys, to sum up this one, this will be into part one. I got the control arm bushings in on both sides. I got the radius arms already lined up, ready for install. I'm gonna do that tomorrow morning after I tighten up the motor mounts, top and bottom, the power steering lines, resecure them with the screws, and definitely reattach the control arms and the bottom knuckle and assembly. I'm going to assemble the coilovers tomorrow so I can tighten up the front end of the vehicle and then work myself to the back. But that's going to be a wrap for today. This is into part one. I'll see you on part two.